share this. Go. I just got on right now. Let's just wait a couple more minutes before we get started. Hey, Sean. Hey, guys. Anyone that's here, give Sean a follow. He is so awesome and gives me like the best ideas. Little thing too. He had the idea of recording all this and putting this on my YouTube channel. So every podcast from now on will be on my YouTube channel. So if you miss it, it's always available on YouTube. So yeah. And it is being recorded as we speak. Let's give this a couple more minutes. And if anyone has like a ghost story they already want to share, just go ahead and click the guest button down below. It'll be the bottom middle, and it'll put you in the guest box. So all right, cool. It's been an interesting Wednesday already. How's everyone doing though? Thank you, Caroline. You're good, Sean. Okay. Well, if there's no one that wants to start yet, I'll share one of mine. So, this happened when I was in the US Navy and I was stationed in Japan. I was trying to excuse me, hold on. There we go. I was trying to astral project at the time and failing miserably and just ended up with a bunch of headaches. But I had some friends that were spiritual and I asked them how they astral projected, and they told me about a method. I forgot it because it didn't work on me. But I remember one night I said, you know what? I got work tomorrow in the morning. I need to get some sleep. Hey, thank you. Thank you, Witch. Yes, I remember you, but Tia, you're amazing. Thank you. Yeah, I was trying to astral project, and this one night I said, you know what? I need to get some sleep. I'm tired, and I don't have time for this. So I laid down, and immediately, I felt my body, I felt myself leave my body, and I was like, oh my God, this is really happening. Like I was conscious, and I was actually floating. Like my eyes were still closed, but I was floating outside of my body, and I didn't make it far at all. But I only made it to my bedroom door. I opened my eyes, and thank you, Tia. I opened my eyes, and I see the door, but immediately after, this giant shadow hand just grabbed me and threw me right back in my body. And I saw myself I saw my body from my astral point of view, and it was like shifting. I saw my body turning my head left and right really like fast, almost in a rapid manner. And I looked to the left, and I had a box TV. There's a box TV in my room. There's no box TV in my room, but I had a box TV. There's a box TV in my room playing nothing but static. And on the right of it was a shadow figure in a suit, arms crossed like this. And it wasn't intimidating. It wasn't trying to scare me or anything or try to oppress me or anything. Nothing like that. It was just like, gave off the demeanor of like, what are you doing? Like, don't. you're not ready for out there yet, you know? Like you're lucky I was here to protect you, you know? And then finally everything was back to normal. But yeah, that was my first time ever astral projected. I did it one more time after, and that was that. Lauren, hey, click the guest button down below, and it should send me a guest request. I've been curious about it, Sean, but not to a point where I want to make sure I protect what's in here. You know, make sure I keep myself grounded. Willow the Witch. My genre of music is metal. My screams are very much inspired by Cradle of Filth, Danny Filth. So, grew up in a haunted house where I've seen small gremlins run around. Ooh, interesting. Lauren, yes. Tia, thank you. You're amazing. You're amazing. Okay, let's bring up our first guest. Lauren, you are up. Oh, hold on, real quick. Turn up the volume. All right, go ahead.
I totally believe you. Actually, I had a ghost experience myself. It came through well, it's a few times throughout my life, but the last lucid one, it came through my dream as a fireman, a
Yeah.
fireman ghost that like blazed through my dream. The boat split. The man said to me very clearly, there was like floating ghosts in my dream. Watch out for the falling angels. Don't fall into the center of pit of hell. And I was like, okay, this is just a lucid dream. It was so lucid.
Yeah.
And then and then I was thinking about and then Kevin, this guy, came through my dream at random right before I woke up. And then I was walking down towards the graveyard, and there was a sign downtown that said "Beware of the ghost." And I thought that was like a joke. And literally, he witnessed himself. He said, "Oh my God!" And I said, "Is there something pinching my neck?" And he's like, "Oh my God!" And it was a ghost.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Outside the graveyard, right by the fire department, like a couple walking blocks, because somebody had suspiciously passed away over there,
Mm-hmm.
and there was a ghost sign.
Thank
Like
you,
it
Matt.
said, when you
Yeah.
see those signs, you think that they're just like suspicious, voodoo or bullshit.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah. Well,
I've
yeah.
always tried to reconnect with him, though. I'm dying to reconnect with him because he was the only one that actually saw it while I felt it.
Mm-hmm.
Squeeze my neck. You know, it was definitely livid. It
No,
was
for
so.
sure. Yeah. Well, I hope the best. I mean,
Do you
yeah.
believe in the onion trick?
The onion trick? What is the onion trick? I never heard of it.
When people say you put a ring of onion around your neck or garlic or whatever it is to like weave around the ghost.
I never heard of that.
It was an old like fable from like the olden days, like back in the day when they
Hmm.
said put a garlic or onion around your door or your neck, kind of like the dream catcher type
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
And they said it would believe about, because I saw a haunted movie, Psycho or whatever it was called, with a friend of mine. It was a revival, and the girl turns into a goblin. It was like stupid. But it was taking after the old 1960s or 70s movie,
Hmm.
and the woman and the old grandmother put garlic or onion on her bedroom door, thinking that could shield away the ghosts. Because that was what they believed in those days.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Yeah, but where were you when you saw your ghost?
So, I've actually had a couple of incidents that happened. There's the one I just talked about, and there's one that happened right after. Actually, it's like probably a couple of weeks later, something happened,
Wow.
and it was on my ship actually, and it was the first time where I was awake. There's no astral projection going on, and I saw something in front of me, like at the foot of the bed, and
Wow.
like no sleep paralysis, nothing like that, but just like actually got harmed by it too. So
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, I definitely felt like I was like fighting with the ghost because like I was standing outside the pub and it was said, and I was just thinking about the pub and my friend who had, and actually the weird part was the guy in the dream, the fireman indicated that somebody had fallen, and I said the first thing I said to Kevin, I'm so sorry for your loss. He's like, why did my friend have to fall? He had a friend who passed away from
yeah,
cancer that week, and it was just like that ghost reminded me of that, and then the fact when I walked through the graveyard to get to the fire department to get to the pub, I got pinched and he witnessed it. You know, it was like that phenomenon.
yeah.
So I knew that it was actually there. I just knew that I had witness and that it was a good sign. You
Mm-hmm.
know, it brought me some good hope while being on the, because I feel like in my senses I can sense these things or these things come through to me, you know, when a ghost passes through you, you feel like you're on two parts of the earth. You know, you're on the physical earth and then you're on the other
Metaphysical,
spiritual.
yeah, the metaphysical, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's a cool thing. I also love being on boats, and I love being in the ocean. And I also love being in the mountains. So I'm a lot like you. I fall in love with that. But yeah, that's cool that you were that where you were at the time on the boat because I've had that kind of like that touch as well. Last time it was when I was on a boat. Let me think. It was a long time ago. I don't love boats and I don't hate them. But the last one was when I was coming out of the ocean, out of an open water swim. I was on a jet ski, and I definitely felt like maybe something like had hit me a little bit. But you know, you never know if it's an actual ghost because the wind is so strong.
Yeah.
You know, whereas if you're in the graveyard or you're in, you're outside an establishment, it's a little different because you can kind of sense it
Mm-hmm.
like there was one guy I'll never forget, young boy. I was talking to him, and he was telling me it was like that same night when before I ran into Kevin. Um, he was telling me about his friend because it was by the fire department, father's uncle who had passed away, and the boy were just standing outside the fire department, and he threw his cross on my face and was like, "Holy shit!" Because
Mm-hmm.
I said, "What's going on?" Because I think he saw a different ghost. You know, like I think there was two. There's been a lot of suspicious ghost stories that I've been hearing about by graveyards and like by fire departments. Again, I don't know if ghosts actually go back to the fire departments in which they had passed away from because like it's like a livid thing, you know, like the fireman doesn't believe that he actually passed away that quickly. You know what I mean? Because they do
Well,
so many good.
yeah. I mean, just think about it. I mean, this is a very, very old world, and many people have taken steps where we're currently at right now, even in our own homes, even the land of the home. So it really doesn't surprise me that even like I don't know at an intersection of traffic, perhaps there's residual activity still there of what was going on there at the time. You know what I mean?
No,
So
yeah,
it's just something just to think about, even like in the ocean. So
yeah. I love being in the ocean. It makes me feel. I actually feel safer in the ocean than
I
I do
don't.
on land.
I love the ocean too, but
I
nah.
could be in there. I could be in there all day.
I've seen Jaws
I
way
love.
too much. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but to me, Jaws. The word. Oh, I tell people this, and I used to be a swim instructor. Jaws is not in the ocean. He's on land. They're the people that are picking your head and your ass about grandkids or about everything else. You know, it's not about or trying to like get under your skin at work. Those are the jaws that are biting you. The jaws in the ocean don't want anything to do with you. You know, I've seen reef sharks before. They don't want to be. You know, they're slimy. They don't bother you. They just swim away. They're scared of you. They're reef sharks. We're more in danger to their environment than they are to us. All
Right.
those Jaws movies, they're all made up. They're not real.
Oh, I'm aware of that, but shark attacks still happen, you know?
Yeah, but they're extremely rare.
Yeah,
Like
I
that girl
know.
in Hawaii who got her arm bit off. Like it was so rare and so unexpected. She was like the 150th in the entire like I don't
Alright.
know, 500 years people have been surfing out there. So like those aren't true. They're true and they're not so true. Like when you hear about those stories, they're so unlikely. Like I heard a story of people have passed away in the ocean and then jaws came and ate them. Yeah, because they looked like a floating piece of fish, on the surface of the ocean. There was some guy in Hawaii who had a heart
Oh
attack, or
boy.
Hawaii, or maybe California, who had a heart attack, passed away, and then this shark came by and bit right through him, and
Mm-hmm.
but the guy was already passed away, So
Right.
it didn't really matter that the shark had just bit through him because he had
Right.
already passed away. So, like, people don't really realize that it has nothing to do with you. They're not after you. I mean, think about it. You're more likely to die in a car accident or to die in a fire than to get attacked by a shark.
Yeah.
It's extremely rare. And I'm
All
not
right.
scared of sharks,
All right.
Like
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
only been in the actually I was in Long Island one time
Okay.
during that week when that girl was attacked somehow. She wasn't attacked, but they closed off the beaches that week later. And
Um.
I was out in
Um.
Fire Island that week
Lauren.
and
Lauren.
yeah.
Let's try to keep this ghost story related.
Sorry. But anyway,
Shark.
about the ghost story. Yeah, so about the ghost story, like I've had some lucid ones. The fireman guy came through twice. First time he came through while we're on a bridge, and it was right before the September 11th, 20th anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
The second time we were in the ocean, and the boat split. And it was the same fireman ghost.
Yeah.
It's really weird how ghostly he was because he was like half human, half skeleton. Not even skeleton, but he was a floating ghost. Because I said to the fireman, "How do you get out of the boat?" And he was floating on top of the surface of the river,
Mm-hmm.
like just floating there. And I'm just thinking to myself, that is so bizarre that you can just float like that.
Yeah. Absolutely. All right. Well,
Thank
Lauren, thank
you.
you for being here.
You can follow me back if you like.
Yeah, of course.
Bye bye.
Take care. Okay. All right. Up next, we have Latcor. Hi there.
Hi there. Hey.
Hey. Quick. Thank you for being here. Quick question
Thank you
though.
for being here.
How old are
Quick
you?
question though. How old are you? 44.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Try not to cuss like
Try not
FDFF,
to cuss like
otherwise TikTok will take down my
otherwise
TikTok.
TikTok will take down my TikTok.
But and also try not to get too
and
religious.
also try not to get too religious.
But that being said, it's all you.
That being said,
Sure.
all you.
I mean, it is obviously. I mean, I guess it would be religious in nature, but I don't have to. I don't have to approach it from a religious standpoint. Okay, perfect. When I was 18, it was kind of a really interesting experience. I kind of it was my first apartment with 3 other buddies. Kind of a crazy time. Our downstairs neighbors were ex-convicts, wildly religious people, but just covered in swastikas, and it was just the weirdest concept.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, some crazy stuff happened. I'll get to the point. And I was sleeping in a closet with a girl. I won't go into detail. But I was awakened. It was in the morning. There was a crack of sun coming through a window that was on the outside of the walk-in closet. And in front of me, I was brought to my knees. Every hair on my body stood on end. Water was pouring from my eyes. And I can't describe the feeling that coursed through my body, but it was unlike any drug I've ever experienced. And I'm a sinner. I'm not perfect.
Right. None of us are.
Religion aside. But what I experienced was, I saw what a lot of people talk about in books, but I saw it in real life. And I've tried to convince close friends and people that I love of this, and I know that it's not something that you can convey unless you experience it. I think some people maybe do, but some people don't. Along with spirits and goats. I do believe it was a spirit.
Right.
So. Right. But that was my experience.
No, for sure, man. Thank you for sharing, dude.
No, for sure, man. Thank you for sharing, dude.
Yeah, no worries.
All right. Take care or stick around.
All right. Take care.
You too. Yeah, have a good one.
You too. All right. Up next, we have Words on Cups. What's up, homie?
Dan, how you been, friend?
I've been good. Just another day.
Good to see you then.
Just another day. Oh yeah.
Got it.
Another thing too. This podcast will be on YouTube for those that missed it. For those that will miss it. So if you ever just need something to fall asleep to, or just interested, hit up my YouTube channel. Same username, everything. So yeah.
So my story right now will be on YouTube.
Yes, it will. It's
All right,
recording
let me
as
get
we
you a good
speak.
story. All right, here we go. That's one of my best stories. Because I was gonna say dream story.
Mm-hmm.
I've said this story before that about the flying saucer I saw when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Can I say that story?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, I'll keep it PG, no cuss words. All right, here we go. Summer 1989. I grew up in South Kuwait. My father worked for an oil company, South Kuwait Oil Company, KOC, and he used to work there all day. So the whole family was playing in the front yard, in front of the garage. We had a grass field. My mother was cutting potatoes with the housekeeper. She's Filipino. Her name was Estelita.
Mm-hmm.
We loved her. As sunset, I looked to my left, and there's a ball of light coming from Saudi Arabia. I didn't know that was Saudi Arabia South, but you can see the ball of light coming. And I ignored it. I looked down, play with my bicycle. I look at it again. It got closer, and it's flying closer to our house. And I told my brother, look, Muhammad, look, you see it? He's like, what is that? The ball of light was under the flying saucer. It was the engine, the flames that are coming from the bottom of it. It was so glowing, and you can see the aluminum. It's cut like a saucer chrome, and you can see the disco lights. It had like a bunch of disco lights around it. Red, green, yellow, and with a haze. And I look on top, and I see yellow windows. I'm like, oh, maybe someone's leaning, or someone's looking at us. They were empty. The yellow windows, and it just flew over our house, over the desert, which was creepy. And it flew right toward Iraq. I didn't know north was Iraq, but I looked back on Google Maps, and it came from Saudi Arabia to Iraq. And you can hear the humming and the tail of light. It left like a glowing tail behind it, like a plasma tail.
Mm-hmm.
And my mother, when she saw me looking at it, she saw it too from her side view. And she came running at me, come back to the house. They're going to take you. And the housekeeper panicked. She ran inside, and my brother stood there with me. We saw it, and it just flew slowly to the north. And I would say the size of it was two private jets combined together. And I can still remember the crystal balls. It had like Target cameras. When you go into Target, you see black cameras. It had 3 of those at the bottom of it. So back then, there was no Google. So I thought it was a UFO. It was aliens. Yeah, it's probably a drone. I'm thinking of it now. But every night when I go to bed, it traumatized me till I was 14. I would cover my head with a blanket. Every night, sweat. My mama would pull the blanket off of me. I'd be sweating. I wouldn't tell the doctor. And I grew out of it,
Yeah.
And my father, he's, like I said, went to the airport with the drawings. He's like, we didn't see anything. It was quiet. Air traffic is fine. It was the 90s, 89. And until this day, my mama remembers it, my brother, my sister, and my other brother. And what's interesting is that my father said that he remembered those before I was born. He had an incident 10 years ago where he was working on the oil fields, and they had a phone call from the north. and they would tell him, we're losing pressure, we're losing pressure. And everything shuts down. The only way to do that is manually. And he would tell my father, you need to come over here and look out the windows.
Mm-hmm.
The disco lights are in the desert looking at us. And those ships, they have disco lights. They would come in the desert at night, which was creepy. Like you look in the desert at night and you see a disco party. And they would hover there, shut everything down. And when they leave into outer space, everything turns back on.
Wow.
So, flying saucers, they haunt you everywhere you go. And I swear, that's my true story. And I'll take it with me to the grave.
No, for sure, man. I mean, I think I already told you about my brief experience. I was walking the neighborhood with my buddy, suburban neighborhood, and he didn't see it, but like it was so quick. I saw like a bright ball and in the sky, and then it just got even brighter, and then just like warped to where it was going, and it left a little plasma trail. So I was like,
Yeah,
whoa,
I've seen
all
that.
right.
Yeah.
Did you see that? He goes, what? He turns and like, where you look? I'm like, you didn't see that? So,
I know. I have a sister because she was born later. She didn't see the flying saucer. So we're going to the corn maze in Louisiana in the woods at night, and in the middle of nowhere. And I was like far away. I'm like, look, you see that star over there? It looks like a disco party. And I don't know if it's a flying saucer. You can see the cones, white at the bottom and inverted white on the top. And in the middle is a disco party. And it's just hovering there, just flashing these lights. I'm like, my sister, look. And she's like, focus, just keep on driving, focus on the road. And I'm like, you're fine with me, you're safe. And we just made it to the corn maze. So, but it's interesting.
no, it really is, yeah.
Mhm.
Anyway.
So,
Well, thanks for being here, bro.
thank you again for bringing me up. So, take care.
You too, man. Bye. All right. Up next, we have Zach.
Yeah, hello?
Hello, Zach. Thank you for being here. How old are you?
What's up? What'd you say?
How old are
Sorry?
you?
I'm 24.
Perfect. Try not to cuss like F'ity FF. Here and there is not
Okay.
not gonna have TikTok destroy my life. And try not to get too religious either. Anyway, that
Okay,
being
perfect.
said, it's all you.
So I don't have a story that or anything that happened to me that couldn't be explained by like wind. But my grandpa swears on his life since I was a kid that so he lives in like Arizona, kind of off into the desert part, closer to Mexico of Arizona.
Yeah.
And I don't know how old he must have been at this time, 60 or 70. He says he passed out on the couch after making dinner or something. And he woke up to just a full, like not even like see-through, just a traditionally dressed Native American woman just standing right in front of him on the couch. And then she walked into his kitchen. So he got up and was like, why are you in my house? Who's in my house? And when he went into the kitchen, there was nobody there, but he saw that he left the stove on.
Oh.
So he had fallen asleep with the stove on and almost burned down his house, but he swears that the ghost of a Native American woman saved him from burning.
Wow.
This story, he's never changed it. He's never told me he made it up. He swears on his life.
It's always those stories that our elders tell us that just like, whoa, what happened there,
Yeah, he fully believes that she saved his life.
Yeah.
So
Thank you, Army Girl.
he loves that and he loves telling it.
Yeah.
So I thought I'd share that with you.
No,
Have a
for
good one.
sure, man. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, have a good day, bro.
You too. Bye. Ghost, thank you for the roses. I appreciate that. Ghost in the machine. Thank you. Thank you for the follow, occasion queen. Yeah. Let's see real quick. Ash, Destiny, and Frozen Human. Real quick. I see you guys. Don't worry. Never mind. I forgot what I was gonna say. Ash, you are next. Destiny, you're after, and Frozen Human, you're after.
Good evening.
Hi, Ash. Well, thank you for being here. How old are you?
I am 27.
Perfect. Try not to cuss like FDFF and try not to get too religious. That being said,
Okay.
it's all you.
No probs. Well, first of all, do you know who Rodney Alcala is?
I do not know.
Well, he's a famous serial killer.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean this in the most respectful way possible, but you look like him.
Oh, no, it's funny because it's funny you say that. My girlfriend, she says that I look like just a more lighter shade of Richard Ramirez. I'm like, huh?
I can see that. I can see that.
Oh my God, thank you. I guess.
But no offense, you
No,
know.
it's all good.
But anyway, so my ghost story is I'm from Northwest Oklahoma, and when I was in college, there's this town up where I'm from, which is literally a ghost town. Like it's abandoned. It's called Ada, Oklahoma. And I'm not giving away anything personal here, so I'm not worried about it. Like it's a ghost town, and there was a murder there. And so if you look it up, but everyone, growing up, we all knew it was haunted.
Yeah.
Well, one night when I was in college, we're like, well, let's drive there. And it's like dead of night. My friends actually tricked me into going there. But anyway, there's literally a graveyard right outside the town. And to get into the town, there is you have to go over railroad tracks.
Uh-huh.
Well, and I don't know if this was like a ghost or whatever, but I had the most horrible feeling. So we're driving there. It's pitch dark. This is out in the country. So I'm telling you, it is dark. Mm-hmm. And we're driving, and Oklahoma is flat. Mm-hmm. So we're coming up, and the train lights are on. Like, train crossing, a train is coming.
Yeah.
And we see it for like a mile out. And so we get there, and the train crossing is down, but there was no train coming. And we're like, what the heck is going on? And if you read the story of the woman who was murdered there, it actually makes a lot of sense because it was by the train tracks. And, or schmurdered, I'm sorry. Hopefully you don't.
You're good. This is all being recorded, by the way, and it will be on my YouTube channel. If you're not okay with the story, I could just edit this part out. It's okay.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Oh.
I just don't want you to get like a flag or anything. But yeah, I know it's like, it kind of sounds silly. Maybe we were overreacting, but I swear there was no train coming.
No, for sure.
We looked both ways. We're like, there's no train. And then we're like, oh my God. And we like freaking bolted out of there. And I know you said don't bring in your religion. I just want to say just real quick, I am a Christian.
That's okay.
But as we were I noticed when we got back, I had scratches on my face.
Oh.
I don't know. And also, my just kind of to add on to that, my mom was a journalist when I was a kid, and she went there to do a story about the quote-unquote haunted cafe that's there. Mm-hmm. And she swears she saw something like the door shut behind her and no one was there. Or no, she walked up and the door just opened and no one was there to open it. But yeah, that's my ghost story. I still don't know if it was real or not. But, I will never forget that because I was literally so freaking scared. But, yeah.
Not for sure. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Take care. All right. Up next. Oh, okay. Frozen Human Popsicle, you are up next. Brain fart again. Jeez. That's what happens when one has ADHD. It just goes.
So, I'm 47 years old.
Cool. You already know the rules then?
Yeah.
All right, man. Go for it.
I think I've told this story before, but it was my favorite of this one dad who was a tattoo artist. And it was in Los Angeles, California, somewhere by Universal Studios. Was a man that unalived 235 people, mm-hmm. and then unalived himself. He was putting them in a big thing of acid and burning them down and stuff. And so my friend would pay for this tattoo artist that lived by this area. And it was a great dragon tattoo with the smoke coming out of the claws and everything. And he was telling us about the story of this spirit because the spirit would bug him.
Mm-hmm.
He would go to sleep one night and the TV would turn on. No remote, not even plugged in, and start making real loud noises. And he tried to turn it off. Then at one point he had a thing where his phone would call and it would have like faces of people burning.
Uh-huh.
And so he had his daughter, his wife, and 2 kids. His daughter was supposedly unalive by whatever spiritual beings were in that house. But the way the man was after that situation, because he divorced his wife and stayed in that area that was haunted instead of moving away. And I said, why are you staying in that area? He says, I'm going to get that spirit.
Mm.
I said, really? I said, why? He goes, I don't care. He says, I've sold my soul. And I will do whatever I can do to get my revenge.
Mm-hmm.
I said, so you're not concerned about going? He said, I told whatever evil spirit, they can take me at any time. I'm ready.
Wow.
And I was like, wow, dude, that father is dedicated.
Yeah. Wow. Well, dude, thank you for sharing that, dude.
No problem.
Take care. All right. Interesting. Truth Pablo, you are next. Another thing, this is what I was gonna say. If you guys really want to support me, follow my Instagram, same username, everything. You'll get to see everything. You'll see what I'm doing with my band. You'll see what I'm doing with You'll see the ghost stories that I upload from people that DM their ghost stories to me. I narrate them, give them a shout out, all that stuff. And you'll see those reels, yeah. Plus you'll see me act like a fool sometimes too. So anyway. But yeah, if you really want to support me, follow my Instagram right here. All right. Truth Pablo, you are next.
What's happening?
What's up? Thanks for being here. How old are
Ain't
you?
not a whole lot. So,
How old are
I'm
you?
37.
Perfect. All right. You know the rules. That try not to cuss too much and try not to get too religious. It's all you.
No, for sure, I got you. So, I'm from Michigan, and me and a couple buddies, we heard about this place not too far from us, Northville Tunnels. We wanted to go explore, see what it was all about. We never been there before. So, we take a ride out there. We didn't even know how to get in, so we're kind of like using these maps, and we're trying to look, see where other people had got in, and we finally find this road. We're like, all right, let's just hike in. So we start walking down this road. It's dark out because we didn't want to get caught by security or nothing.
Mm-hmm.
There's these tunnels up on the side of us, on the side of the road we're walking down. Super eerie, super creepy. So we're already on edge. So we're walking down this road for like, I don't know, a quarter mile or so. We get to this area where it kind of starts to open up. This is like an abandoned city in the woods. Used to be a asylum for kids who had all sorts of issues. It got shut down because, I guess they were mistreating the kids or whatever. But so we started walking down this road. We get to this opening. There's these 3 major buildings we see, and some of the lights are still working. It's like regular roads that you would see, and but it's just in the middle of nowhere. And we're in amazement. It looks insane. We see there's like a fork in the road. We can go forward or we can go right. And to the right, there's these woods. It like kind of bottlenecks in between a bunch of woods on both sides. And we're like, let's go that way. We want to see some creepy stuff. So we start walking, and right in front of us are these 3 deer. These 3 deer were not moving. We almost thought that they were like dummy deers that you would shoot. like for target practice because they weren't moving. And so I'd take a stick that was off the ground and I'm like clicking it on the ground, like seeing if they move or anything. And they weren't moving. And I look at my buddy looks at me, and we're like, yo, what the hell? And like when we look back though towards the deer were gone. And we're like, that's creepy, but you know, they were kind of on the edge of the woods, so we just discredited it. We're like, let's keep going, let's keep exploring. So we start going through the woods, and the first light that we were under, the street light, it turns off. And we're like starting to get scared. We're looking at each other, and it has happened to us in the city before. So we're like, it's nothing, let's keep going. So we get under the next one, and that one turns off, and the one that turned off the first one turns back on. So we're sitting between these woods with the lights in front of us on and the lights behind us on, but exactly where we were standing, it was pitch black. Mm-hmm. And we start freaking out a little bit. We're like, okay, let's turn around. And as soon as we turned around, I can like that. It sounded like a big boulder, like a rock, like a body hitting branches all the way down. Crack, crack, crack. And then you could hear it hit the ground. Boom. And I started running. He started running. We made it out and we took off. His mom was working at a Taco Bell not too far from there. We had left. We're like, okay, that's crazy. Like, we're not going back. I don't know what that sound was. So we went to that Taco Bell and we were talking about the time. And some guy that was working there, he said, are you talking about Northville tunnels? I said, yeah. And he said, that's funny. They were just something on the news about it. 3 kids just died there, like literally 3 days ago. And I just thought it was so interesting because like those 3 deer, they were just the creepiest things. And then we got under the lights and the lights shut off. And right where they found those bodies, we found out after looking up the article, that's exactly where we were, is right next to those things. So I don't know. There's a lot of weird stuff going on. There's stuff going back to the 70s, 60s, videos you can find online about the place. It's definitely a weird place.
Yeah, no kidding, dude. Wow. It's probably not deer you saw.
Well, that's what we were wondering, like, because they did not move. We weren't like super close, but close enough that if we were clicking sticks, they should have like at least moved their head, you know, kind of moved it. And that's the thing too, is where they were on the edge, it was kind of tall grass. So even in the amount of time that we looked away from them and then turned back, we would have been able to see the grass moving. Mm-hmm. So it was just very weird. We just wanted to, you know, when you're scared, you're like, it's nothing, you know, kind of disregard it. But lots of stories that have happened in there that's very, very creepy.
Yeah, no, for sure, man. All right, man. Well, thank you for being here, dude.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, take care. Bye. So, when I say ghost stories, I mean paranormal, meaning it could be a cryptid, it could be ghost stories, it could be UFOs, anything that's just out of the ordinary, really. So, that's what I mean. There we go. All right. Jesse, you are next. Hello, can you hear me?
They're doing.
Okay. All right. So there's currently nobody in the guest queue right now. So if you have a story you would love to share, click the guest button down below, right in the middle. And it should send me a guest request, and I would love to bring you on so you can tell your story. If not, then I'll tell one of my stories that the general audience here has heard a million times. But whatever, I don't mind. Yeah. Also, too, if you really want to support me, follow my Instagram. That's where everything's posted there, from band stuff, band journey, um, reels of ghost stories that I narrate that people have sent me. Give them a shout out and everything. Like, this is so and so story. So, if you want to follow my journey, follow my Instagram. All right. Okay, I guess I'm gonna tell. My Instagram is right there where it says IG. Same username, everything. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Miss, I see you. Hannah, I see you. And Fred, I see you. But let me share one of my stories real quick. All right. So, if the Jets will stay quiet. All right. This is another story of what happened in Japan with me. So I used to be in the U.S. Navy, and I was stationed out in Japan, and the ship I was stationed on, I was just for shorter terms, I was a flight deck firefighter, also chalk and chain aircraft on the flight deck, and everyone enlisted that's ranks like E4 and below have to like help the cooks out at some point of their career. And it was my turn, part of the rotation. So I got lucky enough to be picked to assist in the officer ward instead of serving in the enlisted one. You're serving only a handful of officers compared to like almost 1,000 enlisted. So this is during the time where people are seeing their families, stuff like that. And there's only like a skeleton crew that's manning the ship. So it's my duty day, and I go up to the guy that's in the officer ward, and I relieve him because he's on duty the night before, and he gives me the master key card to every officer room on the ship. Bedrooms, offices, everything. Gives me the master key card. He goes, have fun. So what do? It's early in the morning, and I'm like, I'm still tired. So I walk into the Marine executive officer's bedroom, and there's no Marines on board. There's no Marines on board, none of that, no. And it's a hotel room compared to what us enlisted slept in. So what do? I take my gear off, and I'm laying down on that bed. And oh my God, that bed was comfy. So as I'm laying down, I start hearing what sounds like chatter in the hallways. It sounds like people going over plans, you know. So I'm like, okay, no one should be here. So I put my gear back on, and I go inspect the hallways, and I do a couple more laps, and I'm like, there's nobody here. Interesting. It's an old ship anyway. So go back to the bedroom, and I hear that same chatter. And this time it sounds like it's coming from the room adjacent to me, which is the Marine commanding officer's bedroom. And once again, there should be no Marines on board, not even officers. And I'm like, I'm a bit freaked out to walk into this bedroom right here, you know? So, whatever. I walk right in, and it's pitch black. There is nobody there. All right, this is weird. So, I go back to the bedroom, and I lay down, and clear as day, I hear this voice. And it says, 2 little girls. Now, I'm not schizophrenic. I'm not clairvoyant, clairaudient, none of that. But how many of you have seen The Grudge or The Ring? All right. I blink, and at the foot of the bed, I saw what looked like two twin Samaras from The Ring. And they both had tangly, messy black hair in front of their faces. They had blue, grayish, unalive skin that was cracking, and they were both wearing maroon colored dresses. I can't believe what I'm seeing, and I blink. Next thing you know, they're chest level to me, and they both start choking me at the same time. Now, being in the military, we're not really trained to handle something like this, you know? So I'm freaking out. I'm being choked, and I'm like, I barely muster up enough energy just to yell out, "Leave me alone." The next moment, they're gone, and I'm sweating bullets. And this wasn't sleep paralysis. Like, it was just terrified me, you know? And I was like, okay, you know what? I'm telling myself, it's just a dream. It's just a dream. It wasn't in the middle of the night. It was early in the morning. But I'm telling myself it was just a dream. It's just a dream. I put my head back down, and not even a second later, that same voice said my name. I immediately got up, put my gear back on, and I took off. I did not go back in that room. So, once again, it was not sleep paralysis. I've been in sleep paralysis before, and it was nothing like that. So, anyway, that's my story right there. Interpret it the way you like too. I really don't care if you believe me or not. All right. Up next we have Fred. It'll be Fred, Hannah Carswell, and Team Theism. Hi, Fred.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yep. How old are you?
I am 32.
Perfect. Try not to cuss like FDFF, and try not to get too religious. That being
No
said,
problems.
it's all you.
This kind of goes back to when I was around like 7 years old, so I didn't really know too much about anything of like ghosts or anything paranormal actually at all. This takes place over in Joseph, Oregon, land of the Nez Perce tribe.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was 7, there was a time when my family they went out to party a lot, and so like they came back one night, and they were they were pretty toasty, and they were having fun, and I remember waking up in the middle of the night around say 1 o'clock, and no one was there but my grandma.
Mm-hmm.
She was just enjoying herself for a little bit, and I kind of woke up and hung out with her for about, I'd say, 30 minutes. And we both went back into her bedroom because I like to sleep on her floor right next to her bed because I was 7. I just enjoyed being near her at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the time she always slept with like the TV on, so it was usually there was always some like type of light within the bedroom. This particular night she just decided not to have the TV on, and again, mind you, I'm 7. I don't know anything about ghosts or nothing.
Yeah.
And she turns off the light. She closes the door and she goes into bed, and all of a sudden I remember looking up, and from the door all the way to the other side of the bedroom to the wall, there were these things that were like, I would say, dancing like skeletons.
Mm-hmm.
They were like literally just jumping around. Some of them had long faces. Some of them had really long like hair, and all of them were just full on skeleton. Though they didn't really have any clothes on, and I was just standing. I was just sitting there in shock because I didn't really know to think. I didn't want to wake up my grandma because I'm
Yeah.
looking at something that didn't make sense to me. And I remember about 3 years later, we were watching a movie called Dances with Wolves. I don't know if you've ever seen that movie before. And all of a sudden, I saw these the Indians. They were dancing around the fire. Yeah, and it just struck me like, oh my gosh, like that's exactly what I saw. Like they weren't done partying yet. Apparently, my grandma and my mom, they were just having a fun old time, and apparently, Nez Perce tribe was definitely just not even remotely done having fun. And I'll tell you, that was again, it's one of those things where you don't really know what you see because again, I was such a little kid. I wouldn't even know how to even comprehend what I then. But now, looking back at it, that's exactly what I saw. I was just watching Indians still dance through the hallways of my house. And that was a wild thing to kind of think about.
To witness, really. So, yeah.
But that's my story.
For sure, Fred. Thank you for being here, dude. Thank you for sharing your story, and I appreciate you for doing so, dude. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Take care. All right. Up next, we have 4 guests. Wow. Okay. Hannah, you are next. Yeah, thank you, Fred. Hi, Hannah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes. How old are you?
I'm 26.
Perfect. Try not to cuss too much and try not to get too religious. That being said, it's all you.
Okay, sure, no problem. So my story I wouldn't consider to be scary. It's more, it has a sweet ending to it. This happened when I was about, I want to say 7 or 8. I had a dream one night, and I woke up and I told my mother the next day. So the dream consisted of, we lived in a double wide, and we had a dirt road that went up to my grandmother's house. So we weren't but maybe like a 5-minute walk from her house. So I dreamed one night that in her backyard, it was a grassy field with trees. She had a beautiful backyard. And I dreamed that one night there was this man sitting in a swing hanging, well, it wasn't hanging from one of the trees. It was like a swing set made of wood that was below one of the trees. And he was holding a baby. And my mother walked up to him and sat beside him. And she looked younger. And I hadn't seen her at this age in her life before, except in pictures of her being so young. Because it's kind of what she looked like before I was born, basically.
Yeah.
So she went up to him, she sat down, and he talked to her about the baby he was holding. And he goes, "She's so beautiful." And she said, "I know she is." So then I didn't hear the whole conversation, but they just were chatting and laughing and talking. And then afterwards, I woke up. And the next morning, I went and I told her, and I said, "Mom, I had this dream about this man sitting in a swing in my grandma's yard." And there wasn't a swing then at the time in the yard. And she said, "What did the swing look like?" And I told her. And that swing had been removed years before I was born. Well, about a year or so before I was born, out of that yard because I don't know, it got destroyed or something like that. And so she told me that was it wasn't her dad, but it was her father-in-law. And he was kind of like a second dad to her. and she told me that that was his favorite place to go, was out in that swing in the front yard that wasn't there anymore. And she asked me to describe what the man looked like, and I told her, and she pulled out a picture of her father-in-law. And I said, "That's him. That's who it is." And she told me, "That's your grandpa."
Oh,
and I
wow.
said, "Oh." So she said that was his way of visiting you in his own little way and telling you that he's watching over you. So yeah, but
Love
that's
that.
my story. I just thought it was really sweet.
No, for sure. Yeah. Thank you for being here. I love that story. Doesn't always have to be like The Conjuring or The Exorcist, you know? Like, I always tell people it's okay to tell a story if it's like, I don't know, I was walking next to this graveyard and I saw like a shadow and it freaked me out. That's okay right there too, you know? So, thank you, Hannah, though. I appreciate you.
Oh, thank you. You have a good night.
You too. Take care. All right. All right. Up next, we have Jesse James.
I'm gonna eat some
Wait.
goldfish.
Jesse, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, for sure, dude. How old are you?
I am currently 39 years old.
Perfect. Try not to cuss. Try not to get too religious. It's all you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. I'm still trying to like get the hang of this thing. Like as far as the feedback goes, this is my first time doing a TikTok where I'm actually interacting with people on this platform. But yeah. So I guess a quick ghost story. Was 2000. So I'm from New York.
Okay.
In New York City, we got I think the year was 2007. I was living in an apartment building on East 58th Street and First Avenue when all of a sudden, one night out of a nap, I hear my phone buzz. And it's my doorman, and he, mind you, I'm not very rich. I was staying with my uncle. That's all. I hear my doorman. He's just like, "Hey, man." He texts me. He goes, "Yo, can you come out here and like tell me what I'm looking at?" And I'm like, what is he? Oh my God, it's New York. I'm like, God, what crazy off the street is he referring to? So I run out into the lobby, and he's looking up at the surveillance cameras. So this is this is something we don't see, actually. It's only picking up on camera. There's this white light, and it's just bouncing around inside of the lobby. And, we turn and we look in the lobby, we don't see it. And I'm like, that's very strange. I'm like, is it like a glitch, or is there like a bug inside the lens, something like that? And he was just like, no. He's like, dude, he was like, the lenses are sealed, they're union sealed. So it can't be anything like that. So we're trying to figure it out. And just to kind of, just to give the audience like a little bit of what I'm seeing, if you go on YouTube and you look up the ghost of East 58th and 58th Street and First Avenue, is kind of like a play-by-play of what I'm looking at. We're staring at this thing, and it's strange because we can't see it. It's only being picked up on camera. So I think at the end of the video, about 4 minutes in, I try to interact with it. I see it. I was like, I can't see it. So I'm walking around the lobby, and I'm asking him, I'm like, yo, Armando, where is it? He's like, it's under the ottoman. And I'm like, all right. So I reach under the ottoman, and it flies away. And this freaks us out even more. We're like, okay, so it reacted to your presence. He's like, are you feeling a cold spot or anything like that? I was like, no, I don't understand what this is. And, we caught it on film. We put it on the internet. It's on YouTube. Again, if anyone wants to check it out, The Ghost of East 58th Street and First Avenue. Not sure what we saw that night. It wasn't, it's only as creepy as you can possibly make it. You look at it and you're just like, what could that possibly been? We couldn't see it. It only showed up on camera. And I'm not sure if that's like a common thing with ghosts. I don't know if there's ones that only show up for film.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. That really is an interesting phenomenon. There's the idea that the reason why you saw the ghost is because it wanted you to see it, stuff like that. And obviously there's the whole entire gadget aspect of like taking a picture of it and boom, it shows up, So
it does, yeah. It was very strange. And just as a quick follow-up, I took it to a buddy of mine who was at MIT, and I looked at this. I was like, please tell me I'm not seeing like a fly or something with a shiny alloborax or something that was, or it's New York. Please tell me someone with a laser pointer wasn't messing with me. And I didn't hear back from him for 3 weeks. No, I'd almost say 4 weeks. He was just like, I'm sorry. I've been looking at this thing. He's like, I got to tell you, from someone who works with a lot of electronics, he's like, I don't understand why this happened.
Interesting. All right, man.
Yeah, so just quick and easy and to the point, I'm not sure what the hell that was, you guys are more than, like I said, check it out. I've been asking people for years, what is this? Has anyone ever experienced something that is only strictly picked up on electronics and not by visual?
Yeah, no kidding. All right, man. Well, thank you for sharing.
Hey,
is
thank
it on
you,
your
man.
profile, by the way?
What's that?
Is it on your profile?
I'm sure on my on somewhere on my Facebook, it's somewhere there. But again, yeah, if you just want to log on to YouTube and look at the ghost of East 58th Street and First Avenue, you can watch me try to track this thing. It actively avoids me. Very strange.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I don't. I shared it once. It was years ago. Again, this was in 2007. But I just happened to run across this, and I was just like, I just want to throw it out there in case anyone else has ever heard of something that was strictly electronic. And I'm sure there are those of you guys who have heard things over the radio, a baby monitor. Those are really that sucked. So a baby monitor, you're never sleeping again. Camera, whatever.
Yeah.
If it's strictly only electronic, what does that mean? And what is that?
Mm-hmm. All right, man. Well, thank you for sharing.
Hey, thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah. You take care.
You too.
All right. Up next, we have I Love My Husband. It'll be them, Nish, and then Lauren.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes. How old are you?
I'm 19, about to turn 20 this year.
Perfect. Try not to cuss too much or try to get too religious. That being said, it's all you.
Alrighty, thank you. So, this is kind of like scary-ish. It was terrifying for me.
Mm-hmm.
This takes place when I was 14, and it was summertime. I made a really bad decision, and I decided to run away from home. And, of course, we kind of go like, I feel you. I think everybody does that as a teenager. Me and this one guy, I just met this guy and everything. He was supposed to take me to a friend's house originally. And, we ended up on the complete other side of the state, which kind of sucked. But we ended up outside of, a really, big city out here called Wichita. I'm from Kansas. And it's kind of around, the country, trees, and all that. And he had a really crappy truck, not gonna lie. It was really crappy.
Mm-hmm.
And he went to go switch over the gas tanks because it had 2 gas tanks like the older models.
Mm-hmm.
And it died.
Yeah.
The sun is starting to set. And I swear this is something out of a horror movie because we were surrounded by cornfields, dense wood areas, and what looked like in the middle of the cornfield was like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre house. I am not kidding. I thought either one or all 3 things was going to happen. I thought Children of the Corn were going to get me, Texas Chainsaw Dude was going to get me, or I'm just going to be unalived and buried in the woods somewhere. So we're trying to walk up a dirt road because we were going to meet a few of his friends at a lake nearby and kind of have a little party,
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's where 3 roads connected, right? And there was this patch of grass in between those 3 roads. And I hear something moving, and I mean, it's pretty tall grass. And I'm not sure if you guys have ever heard of Wendigos or skinwalkers.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, so you know what they look like.
Yeah.
I'm going to describe this and see what you think it was.
Okay.
I look behind me, and I screamed bloody murder while he was on the phone with his friend. What I saw was a tall figure crouched down on all fours, the legs of a goat, and a skull of like a goat or a deer skull with antlers protruding really high up. It was down on it was crouched on all fours, like as if it was Spider-Man, with one hand down on the ground and the other one protruding out towards me. And I saw it. I literally fell back when I screamed.
Yeah.
And I looked back and it was gone. Like, I don't know what it was. What do you think that was?
So funny enough, that could be both, really, because skinwalkers are, according to lore, they're witch doctors that can take forms of animals, literally. And,
a lot of people are in the comments are saying Wendigo.
Yeah, it could be a Wendigo as well, because you're describing a Wendigo as well, but there's also the off chance of it being a skinwalker as well, too, because, like, they can morph into things that they can touch.
And I mean, it was like, for someone at the age of 14 that was already going, like, around, like, doing something that she knows she wasn't supposed to and not having, like, any contact with her family. And I mean, like, there was, like, already stuff out for me saying that I was, like, abducted, basically, because no one knew where I was.
Yeah.
So it was, like, freaking me out. And I'm over here, I see that tall, lanky-looking thing, and I'm like, oh, no, I'm out. And... like, oh my gosh, I am glad nobody was in that house because I screamed so loud, I'm pretty sure I woke the dead. But
I woke up Leatherface, like, what's going on down there?
I don't know why it would come after me or even look enough at me and not even attack me. But I mean, it really scared me.
You were probably just in its path, really, just trying to get to point A, point B. I mean, it happens, you know? So...
It was so scary, and like I never witnessed anything like that since, besides maybe one other time, another town, but that's like a totally different story.
No, for sure. Well, thank you for being here.
Yeah, you're welcome, and I definitely made sure I followed and liked this video because
yeah.
I want to see more content like this. I love ghost stories. I love sharing all my experiences. I've had a lot.
No, for sure. This whole podcast will be on YouTube. It's recording as we speak. So,
oh my god, I'm gonna be on YouTube.
Is I can edit this part out if you'd like me to. It's okay.
No, like that's actually really cool. Like I don't know if you just heard my husband just like laughed and give me a smile. Like oh my gosh, that's really cool.
Yeah. There's some parts I gotta edit out, unfortunately, because I got a message that said, like, oh my god, that can't be on YouTube, you know? And some dumb kid got in here. I'm like, you're not over 18. I need to get you out, so.
Yeah, I fully consent to you uploading this story on YouTube, and maybe let me know if you ever have, like, anybody else that might have any ideas on exactly what that could have been.
Yeah, absolutely.
And what's your channel's name?
It's the same username, Samael Forain. That's my stage name for my band, so.
Alright, yeah, I'll definitely have to listen to that too, but thank you for having me. I will definitely be looking forward to more content like this on here and YouTube.
Sounds good. You take care.
I will. Thank you. Bye-bye, guys.
Alright. Okay, yeah, the other thing too, I said this earlier, I do make narration videos. So if you have a story you'd like me to tell, I'll make a whole TikTok video about it, put it on my YouTube as well and Instagram, and it'll be like blah 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 blah. This is so and so story, and I go into a full narration, give you a shout out, I tag you, and just credit where credit's due. And so on. So if you want to check out the quality, check out my TikTok. Some of my recent videos are ghost stories that I've narrated. And all you gotta do is DM me your story. Make sure you put it through spell check. That way I'm not repeating words or just to make it flow better. Put it through spell check. And make it only one story, please. Make it only one story. And yeah, that's really it. Okay. And once again, if you really want to support me, follow my Instagram, same username. All right, up next. Oh, geez, that's a lot. Nish Nish, you're next. Got 4 guests. All right. I know, Sean. Hi, Nish.
Hello,
Hi, how old are you?
I am 32.
Perfect. Try not to cuss, try not to get too religious. It's all you.
Okay. First, I want to say I do consent to be on your YouTube. Can I plug
Awesome.
my YouTube really quick? It's Nisha LaShawn. But I'll do this story because I was thinking about which ones to do. So, about my early 20s, I got into dark magic, if you will. And I also opened my third eye.
Oh, ouch.
Yeah. Don't try that at home.
No. I only got a small taste of it, and it broke me for a very long time, so I get you.
Oh, yeah. You understand me.
Yeah.
So I pretty much went down a dark path of dating a bad guy. And I was like, you know what? I kind of need help from the spirit world. So I decided to do a spell. I drew a pentagram on the ground and called for help, essentially.
Yeah.
So the first few days were fine. Didn't really notice much. And then, like, over the course of like a week, I started feeling like eyes on my back and like people watching me. And I was like, okay, this is kind of strange. So after like a month or so, I started to notice things moving around in the house. And then one day, I saw a lady in my closet. And she was in Victorian era clothes. I mean, she was just standing there.
Yeah.
That freaked me out. And I was like, okay, maybe I should stop, lay off the grass, and just chill. And then a few days later, I was going to go visit a friend. So I took selfies. I took about 5 in a row. The third picture, there's a boy. And he's standing behind me. Like, there was like this weird spot in my room, like the corner. He was standing there. It's not physically possible for anyone to stand there. And his face was, I guess, distorted. Like he didn't have an eye.
Yeah.
And like part of his nose was missing. I can post a picture on my page if you guys want to see it, or I can send it to you too, so you can upload it. But that messed me up really bad. And then after that, I tried everything I could to try to close my third eye, but yeah, that's just not something you can do. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Whoa.
And then after that, I've always been able to see ghosts, but after opening my third eye, it just became worse. Yeah, that's my story.
For sure. Yeah. No. Thank you for sharing. Gosh. Let me just say that I'm proud of you for making it this far, and you're doing great. I'm happy for you. You keep being the badass that you are. Okay.
Thank you, and I love your hair, by the way.
Oh, thank you. It's all natural. I promise. It's not a wig.
Okay, thank you.
Of course. Take care.
You too. Bye-bye.
All right. Oh, thank you for the corgi, Heather. All right. Up next we have Sylvia. Thank you, Desiree. Sylvia, welcome back.
Hey. Thanks for not forgetting about me. No.
Of course not. No.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I kind of spoke about last night about all my adventures since I was a little kid with my parents and grandparents. Having discussions and talks about the paranormal
Yeah.
and things that have happened to them. And they would go back to like the great grandparents and all that. But it's it's an amazing subject. It's one of my one of my favorites. I think I'm obsessed with it. I've listened to a lot of different like radio stations. Primarily it's from other countries,
Yeah.
Mexico and Colombia, and they have something that is just intriguing, the things that you listen to, and
and learn about. But tonight I just wanted to kind of touch base on the subject of orbs.
Yeah.
Of orbs. I live in a home. I live in like a track home, and
Thank you, President.
my home is pretty calm and peaceful for the most part, and everything. I've never had anything crazy happen around here, but the only thing is that I did go out like maybe 6-7 years ago. I bought some cameras, some security cameras, and they're kind of maybe basic cameras that are portable. You just place them wherever you want. But I noticed that they catch a lot of like maybe floating orbs, if you will. I don't know exactly what they are, but depends where I place them. Like I have placed them in my garage, and if you when you hold one of those bubble, the little round things that you blow bubbles from out of.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, well, in my garage, that's what it looks like. That's exactly, but it's all just a bunch of like orbs coming out of this porthole.
Yeah.
Like a portal. Yeah, and it's just, and that's exactly what it looks like when you blow bubbles from one of the little round things, when you're at a party or whatever. But they shoot out like it's, like they're coming out of a fan. I don't know, but they're everywhere, and some of them will actually stop, and then for a minute they would freeze and they keep going. But I did save the video of it, and I've sent it to different people and to the radio station, and they think it's pretty interesting. But if I don't know if you ever accept those type of things, videos or
I take those stories. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that I can maybe send out to you or.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like I said, just make sure you put it through spell check. Make sure it's a paranormal experience. And that's it, really. Make sure it's one story as well.
It's just there's you really don't see anything here, but once you set up those cameras, wow. I mean, it's like oh my gosh, they're just shooting out like crazy. I mean, it's everywhere. They're everywhere.
Yeah.
So it's just
The reason why I have that criteria is because I had a friend send me a story, and legit, nothing paranormal happened. It was just, I have a bad feeling about this. I had a bad feeling about this. Then this song came on the radio, and it scared me, and that was the end of the story. I'm like, dude, nothing happened. So,
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Nick.
it's nothing. I just wanted to, kind of share that a little bit. But, that's it for now. I have thousands of them, but, I just wanted to, as I'm listening to you guys and just, participating in your podcast, in your live podcast, that one came up. So it's something that I like to share with you and send it out to you sometime.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, just DM it to me on any platform that I'm on, and just send it. Make sure, just like I said, just make sure it's through spell check, and I'll give you a whole shout out. I'll do like a whole ambiance atmosphere, and check out some of my narrations that I've done. It'll be just like that. So.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. I think that's it for tonight.
Sure, Sylvia.
Thank you for inviting me in. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no, thank you for being here. You're always welcome here.
Thanks. I feel like part of the family now.
Good.
So, as I go, as I join, I like to, maybe share some of the other stories. And like I said, a lot of them come from, maybe family members or people at family that I have experienced the paranormal. Some of the call into the radio station. Yeah. So, and talk about their experiences. It's just something that it's amazing, mind-boggling, and it's something that will make your hair stand on end, and it still does once in a while. I mean, I could just, I'm older and I still run under my covers and call for my mom. I'm like, oh my God, is this real? But yeah, it's an amazing experience. But okay, I will definitely keep participating in your live podcast. I like to do that.
Take care.
Okay.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
You too.
Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Thank you.
Yeah, Toastmon. We have quite a few EPs out already on Spotify. So people blowing up my phone when I'm busy. All right. All right. Up next we have Lauren again. Good to have you back.
Hi.
Hey, welcome back.
Yeah, I just want to say one thing about the guy who talked about the ghost on 59th Street. That brought me to a story when I was with my family. We were staying at a hotel around that area, the Marriott. We got stuck in a hotel elevator for 45 minutes in between floors. My heart was racing, panic mode. We called, the emergency line. We pulled the bracket, stuff like that. And then after 45 minutes, the elevator dropped and went back to the first floor, and we saw like this ghost. Oh, I witnessed it at least, and that just brought livid chills down my freaking spine. Another thing I just wanted to say about the walk-in thing. The woman making reference to the guy when she ran away from home. I took my sister's dog on a walk in her neighborhood in Boston, and I can kind of foresee things like, like you have like this weird like ghost like foresee like overshadowing you, like when you hear about or you sense your spirit animal. Mine's a dove. They kind of give you these auras or these interactions that you don't really want to witness or you may come across. So every time somebody tells me about a story of somebody who had passed away, my spirit animal kind of wingles out. Spirit animal kind of like sends me weird messages.
Mm-hmm.
So we have this really good friend. This woman, she was a foster mother. Her not as foster mother, stepmother, whose original mother of the two boys passed away, unfortunately, from breast cancer. And then the two boys lost their lives in the Iraq War.
Oh.
But foreseeing their tragedies and their life, I was walking the dog, and there was this woman who, in her neighborhood, who lived on this grassy hill in this old neighborhood, and I was walking Lila, our dog, who's a lab and who loves animals, and the woman was sitting on her doorsteps crying, moping, hugging her boyfriend, and I said to the woman, can I just use my dog, and can we just go up onto your grass hill, and I think she wants to like take like a little piss or something. She's like, first she was like, no. And then she got kind of like the spirit sense from me. And she's like, yeah, go on my hill. Go let your dog shit on my lawn,
Yeah.
So I let Lila on her lawn. And in the back of her lawn, she had wind chimers. In the back of the lawn, like by her garden, she had wind chimers in this weird like fenced off area with ashes from somebody who had passed away. It was her mother. Her mother had recently passed away. So it was like a little like, I don't know if it was actually her ashes or what it was, but it was like a little like dwelling area for her mother who recently passed away. And I could tell the woman was still emotional. Like she had just lost her mother. Her boyfriend was there comforting her. It was a whole like really unfortunate event, And I go in the backyard, and this woman who's a friend of ours, who's also lost her two sons in combat, I was feeling their aura, and I was also feeling this woman's presence of this girl who lost her mother. I go into the backyard, and I see, no joke, I see two rabbits, and in the way back in the bushes, I see a deer, a fawn. And I told my dog, I whacked the leash, and I said, Lila, look there's I'm thinking, I'm having goosebumps right now. I said, Lila, there's a bird, there's a rabbit, you love rabbits. And I whacked her leash, and my oh my gosh, I'm having chills right now. My dog froze. She looked like a frozen beast, like a frozen dog that when her paws were up, her ears were back. She was so intimidated by the light. There was this big golden light casted on the shadow of this woman's backyard where the wind chimers were. And further comes this deer. and where the wind chimers were, there were two rabbits frozen, like staring back at us. And in the backdrop, I saw I saw Matthew, who had passed away in combat, and I saw the woman's mother on the other side standing. I saw their ghost. I literally saw it, like a picture of a person. And when I whacked my dog's leash, they came out. And when I let Lila go forward, like go towards the deer vanished back into the bushes and the rabbits vanished back into the bushes. So I just think it's like the whole phenomenon of seeing the ghost. Like the ghost was tacking me while I was walking the dog. Do you think that's true?
Probably.
And the woman actually, when I left her yard, she thanked me and said, and I just said to her, I'm sorry for your loss. Like she said, thank you so much. Thank you for thinking that about me. And she was in total shock that I witnessed a phenomenon that I was able to sense the presence of her mother in her bushes, who was standing over her little I don't know what it was, but like cross, and like she had like some like thing going on for her mother's memorial.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely sensed that. I saw her mother, and then I was also thinking about my other sister's neighbor who lost her son in combat. Like it's just so crazy how a deer and a rabbit and a squirrel would just line themselves on someone's lawn like that.
Mm-hmm.
It just scared the crap out of me that it was just there, like they were just guarding, like they were put down by the angel themselves. Is that crazy?
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah, so I just wanted to get that off my chest, but I'm not going to hold your floor, and I don't want to keep other people waiting, so thank you.
For sure. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right. Take care. All right, guys. I got to go now. Our power went out and got to address the issue. So I will be back later on, probably spontaneously at night. So you guys take care.